Hi, my name is Catherine Branham, and this is Your Divine Birthright. I have some follow-up answers to questions that were emailed to me asking, why is it so important not to eat pork? One of the reasons is pork has such a heavy energy about it. All meat does. Meat in general will ground you to the earth, and that's really not what we want. One of the reasons why pork, if you're going to eat meat, eat chicken, eat turkey, but do not eat pork. Pork will mute any of your own emotions and your feelings. And that's why when people feel they have a piece of bacon, they feel calm, they feel relaxed, they feel awe. Well, that bacon mutes your own feelings. So if you want to tune into your own gifts and deepen your own spiritual walk, you're going to take pork completely out of your diet. And it's one of those things that you can't say, well, you'll eat bacon for breakfast and then that'll just be on the weekend, and then during the week you'll be fine. It's not one of those things. You really need to take pork out of your system. Primarily, what they were showing me, I was at a brunch with my family, and someone was ordering an omelet in the buffet line. I was waiting on a pancake, and they said that they wanted bacon and sausage and whatnot in their omelet. And I just picked up on that just a little bit, and all of a sudden they showed the person's crown chakra. They showed their heart chakra from the back side. They showed their solar plexus and then their root chakra. For those of you that know the chakra system, these are the areas in which pork clouds. So when you take pork into your body, those are the spots that pork will cloud in your body. So you're not going to get the clear messages you need, regardless of what you do for a living. If you're law enforcement, if you're doctor, teacher, you want all of your senses. You want all of your faculties. You don't want to feel muted in any way. You want to make sure you're getting clear guidance. For those of you on your spiritual walk that have a spiritual practice, definitely take pork out of your diet, even if it's once in a while. If I get a baked potato somewhere and somebody accidentally sprinkles pork on it, there's no way that I'm going to eat it and work, because you can't see anything. You'll be completely muted. And the other flip side to that, on any animal, when an animal is slaughtered, and pork factories, very notorious for this. A lot of meat factories are, but pork factories in general, it's often the animal is abused prior to its death. And when animals communicate, they communicate through thinking to another animal. Another animal can hear their thoughts, even when an animal is going to be eaten by another animal. They are being told that they're going to be eaten. So when an animal at a slaughterhouse is being slaughtered, that vibration of that fear and what's happening to that animal ricochets out through that slaughterhouse. And the other animals that are living in that property, wherever they are, know that vibrational frequency. And they know it's just a matter of time, because animals are being slaughtered there. It's a very sad place. Whatever that meat had gone through prior to its passing, that vibrational frequency stays on that meat. So if that meat had fear, that meat had sadness from the life that they lived at that slaughterhouse, that's going into your body. And when you consume that type of food, you may feel good for that moment of having that crispy bacon, or that juicy bacon, however bacon people describe it. It may feel good at that moment, or a piece of ham. But what the reason why it feels good, it's not so much the taste, it's the fact that it mutes down how you're feeling. It's the same feeling that people get that might smoke a cigarette or have a drink. It's that feeling of just kind of muting out your emotions from either the night before, an argument, or it's the weekend and you have work the next day, so you're going to mute yourself with bacon. This is one of the biggest reasons that you should not have pork. It mutes your senses. It desensitizes your emotions. And that's one of the flip sides of why people feel good after consuming pork. I'm going to go through and do a video on exactly what happens on the flip side after an animal passes, a human passes. I'm going to do some videos of that down the way. But even for people who are hunting, whenever an animal is shot, regardless of how they're killed, that energy of how they were killed, the sadness, whatever happened, even if there were other animals around, that fear is going through their body. It releases all at the same time, and you're eating that food. And that doesn't mean things change if you sneak up on your prey and kill it a different way. It just doesn't. The vibrational frequency of people who work at slaughterhouses, their vibrational frequency is very low. They're not happy people. And often at times in their life, even their passing is very sad. Not just working in the factories, but just being in that environment. Their whole energy field is very sad. Often at times, if I happen to hear a name of somebody who worked in a place such as that, or whenever I'm in a session and someone brings up a relative that did this for a living, often at times I'll see the animals that they slaughtered around that person. So it will show exactly what they did for a living. It may even show the process of how they did it. So there's a lot of sadness on the side. There's several different religions that believe in not eating pork for various other reasons other than what I gave you. Just the fact that it's unclean or whatever. But the reason that was left out way back when religions formed was the fact it does mute people out to their divine guidance. Whatever you're supposed to get from the divine, your messages, it mutes you out to where you're not going to get it. It's a very key point to your spiritual path. So whenever we consume things, we don't want to harm anything in the making of food that's actually feeding our body. It's part of the spiritual awakening and allowing your body to actually sense what's going on around you and what you need to know. The other thing that I wanted to cover that someone had questioned, they were asking if this is the end of time, and it's not. God says, this is not the end of the world. This is not the end of earth. This is the beginning of what people need to do to change. It's a very tough year in having to change people's mindsets of how they view life and how they view the life of others, how they view the life of anything, water, air, living, plants, animals. 2020 is not the end of the world. So anybody who believes that, that's not true. It's a zero reset to some of the negativity and things that we needed to see and be brought, that needs to be brought to our attention. 2021 will be the zero reset for all the other living things, such as animals and plants, air and water. There's going to be so many different things that are coming about as far as renewable sources. These companies are going to be able to do some really great things with people getting behind them. More companies will choose this in their way. of choosing renewable resources. The other question that I had from someone was, how do you know who can help you activate your chakras, or who can help you activate your light codes? And the channeling that I received from God that he wanted me to convey is there's nobody else that can help you activate those codes. So when people are out there on the internet, or readers are promising you that they're going to activate your light codes or your light body, that's simply not true. It's only you that's going to be able to activate your light codes and your light body. And he told me, for those of you that know your chakra centers, that's great. For those of you that are not well acquainted with them, look them up, the chakras. He's saying at night, every night before you go to bed, you reset your body. You reset it again in the morning when you wake up, regardless of what time you wake up. Try to lay there for a few minutes. See white light going into your heart chakra and filling up to the other chakras with white light, traveling through up and down through your chakras. At night, as you do this, it's going to help clear your day. One of the things that he wanted me to explain as far as the activation process. No one can activate your chakras. No one can activate your light codes for you. Nobody can. No matter what they charge, no matter what they say, nobody can do that. He's saying only you can do this. He's saying you do this by being on your spiritual path, with your awakening, with your wisdom, with you becoming more aware, being guided down your path. Regardless of what situations you've experienced in the past, even if you saw them as being bad, something bad happened to you, there were certain light codes that were able to open up and change. And those had to do with different things that need to be balanced, either karmic balancing or things that you needed to be able to look at the experience, bank it later, and know the information for down the line, either to help yourself or to help others. And he's saying as you continue along your life path and you make choices that will be good for you and see yourself different, your key to your full activation is loving yourself. Not loving yourself so much in the materialistic way of saying, oh, I need a new skirt or I need a new shirt. This is me loving myself. Loving yourself is making choices for yourself that is not about giving yourself away. It's not about just being with somebody because you're lonely or you just want to be with them. It's the wrong way to do that. You should be with somebody that you truly love, and not with anybody just for what you feel like they can do for you or how you look in their life. He's saying activation of certain energy codes and light codes comes from that type of awakening. When you realize that truly you came into this world with everything you need, and it's different experiences that help open that up. Taking the word you can't out of your vocabulary and seeing yourself as a child of the Most High God, and that you are able to co-create everything you want. Everything happening around you is part of your path that you put there. Marriages, divorces, children, unborn children, everything were part of an experience. So you could come into this world, have the experience, and either activate, clear, or create something beautiful for the future. Part of it was so you could clear a lot of things that you did either in a previous life, a past life. Doesn't mean you were a bad person. And it doesn't mean that you were a fallen angel. It means that there's times that there's a balancing of certain things from our actions that need to take place. As you have these awakenings or these lessons happen, and how you handle them is part of those light code awakenings. So the example that I have for you is if you're dating someone or you've dated someone and they did you wrong, and the person walked away and wanted to be with somebody else, but they lied to you and they told you no, they just didn't want to be with you anymore. You have two things you can do. You can say, this was actually a sign from the universe that it is time for you to move on, because you are being divinely guided by your spirit guides and your angels. Or you can say, you know, that's not a good enough reason for me. I feel that we really had this connection, and you decide you're going to knock on this person's door and confront them and say, what happened? You know, I thought we did this when we made love. It was terrific. Why is it that you want to break it off with me? So those two examples of going two different ways. Yeah, you could go knock on the door. It's not going to raise your vibrational frequency. In fact, it's only going to darken it. The first way would be, I accept this because this is happening, and this person is apparently not the highest and best for me. If they were the highest and best for me, we would be together. I shouldn't have to sell myself on someone to be with me. If you find yourself in a situation that you're having to prove to someone that they should be with you, or you should sell them on dating you, oh, you should go out with me, we'd make a great couple, we would do this, that lowers your frequency. That type of life and that type of experience lowers your frequency. The reason being is because it's in the old 3D mindset of trying to get them to notice you for something else. When you're rocking along and you're at a high frequency and there is someone that you like and they don't notice you, you need to look at it as, that's not the highest and best person for me. When you start to see things in that way and from that perspective, it gives you a great bird's eye view of the trajectory of what you have to come, which is, you are going to notice the highest and best person for you. You're not going to have to sell them on being with you. You're not going to have to talk them into being with you. They're just going to want to be with you. And those type of situations raise your frequency. It's because you're sitting in the knowing. You're sitting in the knowing of, my divine counterpart will be with me. I don't need to do this, this, and this to get this guy to notice me or this girl to notice me, because the right girl is going to come along and want to go out with me, or the right guy is going to come along and want to go out with me. And when you get to that frequency level, light codes start snapping. It's because you're sitting more in the power seat of knowing everything's going to come to you, rather than sitting in the, I got to get this, I got to get that. It's going to you hit a point to where when you say, I want this, it's going to happen for you. It's just going to happen for you. And it's not one of those things that you need to dwell on. You just put it out there like a boomerang. And when the universe realizes you're at the level to accept what it is that you just sent out into the universe, and that you're at the level and the responsibility to accept it without the ego, that boomerang comes back to you and you retrieve it. And you're able to have it and you're able to enjoy it. It's when the frequency that you send out meets with the light of the divine, and it co-creates it together. So the next video next week will be on the energies of the Lion's Gate. I plan to channel energies every night this week. So there will probably be a part 1 and a part 2 for Lion's Gate and the energies of what you need to know. This is the most important Lion's Gate that we've ever experienced in our lifetimes, 2020. This Lion's Gate is going to be one of great value to everyone that is a light worker, and for those that are up and coming, that I've mentioned in the past video, for those that will be awakening, this Lion's Gate is going to be so crucial for you. I love you always. Please do not hesitate to send me an email. Let me know if there's a question. If I can't answer you an email, I'll answer it in a video. And I hope everybody stays healthy and strong, and keep your light and your frequency bright, and love everything.